go on to the second question, which is really a question I have been dying to hear some women discuss for years. Lord have mercy, I wish I could get in on this. Chicago men. Woohoo! Lord. Chicago men have been known to be a different breed. Y'all know you are. Lord have mercy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you agree with that? And if so, why or why not? Chicago men.
So, I definitely think Chicago men are a different breed. When I say Chicago men, I mean either men who were born and raised in Chicago or who have been here for several years. And what makes them different from other men, say on the East Coast or down South or out West, is that most Chicago men are passive. They want to be chased by the woman. They don't know how to initiate. They don't believe in chivalry. They don't believe in pain. They don't want to drive. They want to lay up on your couch. They want you to take care of them. They do. Because they tend to be aggressive. They're very manly in their persona. They're very masculine. But so are men from the East Coast. They're very masculine. The difference is, in my experience, and I lived in D.C. for 3 years. I lived in North Carolina for 4 years, and I've traveled all over to different countries. And I think the major difference is men here want to be chased. Men from other places, men from the East Coast, men from New York, men from Jersey, men from North Carolina, men from wherever, they know how to lead. They know how to ask a woman out. They know what it means to take a woman on a date. In Chicago, what'll happen is if a man asks me out, he'll set up the time, we'll pick a day, it'll all be ambiguous and vague. Oh yeah, let's get together, let's hang out. I'm good and grown, I don't want to just hang out with a man. Let's hang out on Wednesday, I'll pick you up, whatever. They may or may not confirm. They don't seem to know what that word means. They may or may not show up on time. They might show up 45 minutes late. And when they do, they want you to make all the damn decisions. Well, baby, where you want to go? You asked me out. You asked me out 2 weeks ago. You didn't put any thought into anything other than your outfit. You didn't clean your car. You did you bring your wallet? So it's like, baby, why you doing that? My car's in the shop, well then we ain't going.
Or how about I'll pay, you leave a tip. That's very popular.
My tip is nigga pay all of them.
I'll pay, you leave a tip.
Or I get the dinner, you get the dessert. I want dessert. Right. So that's my opinion. I think that men in Chicago are passive / feminine, and they do not know how to.
You ain't got no doubt. You moving back to the
They do not know. They can't come for me. They don't know how to lead. They don't know how to ask a woman out. Asking a woman out means taking all steps from calling her to ask her on a date, not texting her or Facebooking her to ask her out. It means picking up the damn phone and asking her out, and it means planning it. It means deciding how you're getting there, because your role as a guy, if nothing else, if you don't agree with another word I said, is as her protector. And I'm not going to feel protected if you haven't put any thought into what we're doing, how we're getting there, how you're going to keep me safe when we're there, how we're going to eat, how we're going to make it back, how we're going to, get your vehicle from my house to there. And I think that in general, men in Chicago are a totally different breed. Southerners are different. They're very gentlemanly. Guys from the East Coast know how to, follow through and ask you out. And even if they don't have all their ducks in a row and they're not where they want to be financially, they will find a way to make you out, take you out, because it's about being creative. It's not about having a whole boatload of money or taking me to someplace expensive. It's about putting some thought in it and saying that I'm worth you putting that thought forward. And guys from other countries, they definitely got the manly thing down. They got the masculinity in order. There's no them asking me out, a Jamaican or African asking me out and not knowing where we gonna go. I'm sorry, it's just.
And then he's gonna pay.
And he's gonna pay.
Right. You know the foreigner's gonna pay.
So men in Chicago are just different.
And after
do that, it's not like now you deserve the Man of the Year award because you've done the stuff that you supposed to do. Right. I called you up and took you out and drove and
Left the tip.
Right. It's like
And I ain't get no man.
Right, because all of that, if a man does in Chicago, if a man does all of that,
He makes no count.
right.
He makes
You might just consider yourself an escort. You expect some ass at the end of the night.
and if you don't, you're trifling.
Right.
Trifling.
You a gold digger.
You a gold digger.
You stuck up. You
all about money. You all about money. And I've noticed that too. Being, I lived on the East Coast for a while. I was just telling the ladies about when I went to Texas for the first time, and I met the Southern gentleman, and I was just swept off my feet. I'm like, I take any one of these.
Over the best one in Chicago.
I'm like, everybody here, just their base level is just here instead of here. It's not a big deal to be chivalrous. It's not a big deal to open the door. It's not a big deal to take a woman on a date, to call her, to make arrangements, to make plans, to get your car washed and clean. They want to put their best foot forward at all times, and it's disgraceful. It's shameful. It's less than if you don't do it that way. And it has nothing. It doesn't always have to do with the woman. There's a personal standard that's held about how I want to present myself to society and to the world as a man. And there's like a code amongst men. Like, you don't want to be embarrassed by other men by being,
But
lazy
here,
and
it's
here in Chicago,
if a man does all that,
pay your bills, that's like, you living with your girl, I'm saying, 'cause my girl got a good job. she can cook, she be cleaning and stuff. I got myself a real good girl, but this dude sitting at home watching cable, playing Xbox.
It seems like here in Chicago, if men talk amongst themselves, whatever guy is doing all of the things that we like, all the other guys think he is.
You're lame.
You're right. And so here it's just really different. And I have not dated any man outside of Chicago. This has been my home base forever. But just having conversations with people from other, even ethnicities, and they've talked about how one of the things that she said, that if in their communities, that even if their woman just works, it appears to the community like the man is not doing his job.
Yes.
So they don't necessarily maybe want her to work. Like, she can have a job and it's, but it's a nice little quaint job. It's not necessarily she's the breadwinner,
right.
because then it lessens his masculinity in their community.
Right.
And so when I hear those kinds of things, I'm like, where is that? I'm moving. Shut up. Like, really? So I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm dating women right now. Because I'm sick of this Chicago man. I just think it's announcing that I'm dating women. Right. But it really is the truth. But I mean, I cannot tell you. I've even had that conversation this week. Like, I post questions on Facebook and those kinds of things. So I'm getting into conversations with men all the time about this. And because I just feel like men are not pulling their balls up. Take that and run.
Your ovaries are showing.
They are not pulling their balls up. I would rather be with a woman with no balls than a man whose balls hang low. Pull your balls up. Pull your balls up. And then maybe we can talk about it. But the Chicago man just has me uninterested. I can't.
By the time you get through making your own money, paying your own rent, now you got to drive with your own car. You got to pay for the date. By the time I need a girlfriend. Because I'm clearly
Exactly.
So at the least, after I done got through doing all the planning and organizing, I'm calculating, I'm organizing the day.
You are the man.
Somebody up. I need to go pick up a beautiful young woman.
Thank you. So appreciate it. across a chalkboard, I was cringing because I don't see that the things that you see in Chicago men. I see that. I feel like Chicago men are very arrogant, and they hold themselves up to a different type of a standard. And I think when they don't really brag on their things, they do brag on their woman. Which, you know what I'm saying? Like, my woman bad. My this, that, and the other.
Yeah, she got a good job.
Right. You know, she's taking care of me. I mean, but I always, a while ago when Kanye West did that thing about George Bush doesn't care about black people. And people are like, he's such an ass. I'm like, well, what's wrong with Ye? I think that was cool what Ye did.
Venture Rock Studios in 1906 and a half, South Halsted here in Chicago.
If you've ever dreamed of becoming an entrepreneur and don't know where to start, The Entrepreneur Within You by Julie Holloway is a must-read. Holloway and 17 co-authors share advice and inspiration that can save you from serious business blunders. So purchase your copy today on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. The Entrepreneur Within You. Empowering, equipping, inspiring.
I think that we can kind of relate to the fact that they have this thing, and I'm not going to use the S word. They, sound like tag. I ain't going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But they do have this thing about them. They have this kind of thing, and I find it kind of sexy to me. But you can't back it up. I mean, well, I said it's a thing. I didn't say it exists in the real. It's a thing. We don't can't even call it
That's called a mirage.
But the thing about it is that when I lived in Atlanta and I was going out, I met this guy. He took me out on a date. I mean, he picked me up. He said, I want to come in. I want to meet your family. I want them to know who you're leaving with. You know what I'm saying?
You get a car horn. My
He wanted to meet my mother. He wanted to meet my sister. And when I tell you, when I walked up to that car, the Chicago chick came out of me because I've been brainwashed by Chicago. When I grabbed that door, he was like, I'm sorry, are you driving? And I said, are you on a date? Are you taking me on a date? And I was like, okay. And he put me in the car. He closed the door. He got in the car. Are you comfortable? Do you want to listen to the radio station? He had everything planned out. And when I tell you, when he dropped me at the door and he got out, and I'm like, this nigga come on some head or something. This is really awkward. This is a thing that came into my mind. He got out the car. He opened the door. He walked me to my door, and he said he did not leave until he heard the tumbler click, and then he pulled off. I don't know what I felt a certain type of way about it. I was like,
that's the sad part is when someone does finally treat you like that, it's like you be having all kinds of self-esteem issues. But next time I see him, I better bake a cake because I'm so not used to being treated like that. Then now I have to be like, well, am I worthy? Was I pretty enough? What am I going to do?
You think he has an ulterior motive? And I'm thinking like, well, and that's why I said when he got the car, I'm like, this is awkward because I really don't want to get this nigga no hair, and I'm just not feeling him like that. I wasn't feeling him like that because he seemed real needy. And it didn't have anything to do with how he treated me. It was like during the conversation, he was just saying things, I really like to spoil my woman, and I really like to know where you are because I want to feel safe, and I can't go to sleep at night knowing if you're not in the bed. So if you go out, I really need to know when you come home, you need to call me and let me know that you're okay so I can go to sleep. And I'm like, yeah.
So you thought it was a creep?
I thought it as insecurity issues, and I felt funny.
And he was just checking to make sure you was good.
And that's why you date people though, because everybody doesn't match. Everybody doesn't match.
But I think the thing with Chicago men is when they become successful and they went to school and they get work in corporate America, they feel like they was the cut from a different cloth. I'm from Chicago. What you mean? I walk past bullets and this and the other. My best friend used to rob people and this. So when they become successful, they think they supreme. Man, you gonna court me? Forget that. I grew up on the South Side and this and the other. And I got all the degrees. And this. So you gonna court me? Because I lived a hard knock life and turned my.
You got to earn him. You got to earn me.
Started from the bottom.
Right. I started from here. Right. And that's the thing. And I had a guy actually tell me, you're gonna support me. I feel like I don't have no kids. I'm young. I got my own place. My car is paid for. I work in corporate
there's so many of them and so many of us.
That's what he was. That's exactly the point he was pointing out. That's the main thing.
That's why if you date women, y'all. You don't have to be bothered with that kind of stuff. Okay.
I know converters.
When he said it,
Women are just as crazy.
They are.
But when he said it, at first I was pissed. I'm like, this nigga is tripping. I gotta court him. Excuse me? Then I'm thinking about, like, you know what? I haven't met too many people like you. You're right. But at the same time, I'm not going to, your Majesty, what can I do for you? Because you have a degree. Oh, you have a degree. Should I bake you cookies today? Like, I'm not going to do that. You're going to still court me. You're going to court me even though I ain't got no degree and this, that, and the other. And I might not be at, it doesn't matter. You're going to still court me.
Right.
And that's what they're looking for. And I'm like, okay, if you ain't matching me as far as financially, you ain't got no type of, your master's, your bachelor, whatever, you ain't equal. And that's another thing. Like, they feel like, if she do got it, she either married or she got some kids and this, that, and the other. Something wrong with her, So it's not that equal balance in Chicago.
I call those ideas.
They're important black men.
Oh.
They have important jobs.
Now they coming for you.
They drive important cars. They wear important clothes. They know important people. They go to important parties. They have dated other important people. Right. You don't know how important they are. Right. But most of all, they are too important for you. Okay, that's why they gonna text you, because they are so important. They're gonna text. That's why they may or may not show up to that date, because they were so busy. Because they were so and if you don't do what I do, you don't understand that. Then you just don't know how important you don't work in corporate. You don't understand the importance of how important they are. They are very important, and they're black. They're important black men.
If they're straight outside, they're straight. They don't have children. They don't have any kids. No. So you don't have a clue about how important they are, because they are too important for you.
And we had, I'm not saying like, we had a gentleman that used to frequent Urban Dialogue a lot, and he had that type of deal about him. He was so well to do. I have a boat, and I have a big luxury car, and I work at a hospital, and I'm this, that, and the other, and I want you to make me a sandwich every once in a while, and I want you to do this for me and show me that you're interested. And I'm like, yes. Are you on real time, nigga? Are you on real time? I was like, right. He would say these things, and then I would hear things in the street, because I believe in gossip. It's true. This a little truth in every piece of gossip. And I'm like, but you ain't got this stuff together. You got baby mamas everywhere. You're sloppy. I heard your dick don't get hard. You just boom, the baby. Give me. I don't get it. Now I'm starting to see. Yeah. I'm going in my Rolodex. I mean my Rolodex in my mind. Rolodex in my mind. Don't go back up in my mind. And I'm starting to get it, and it's all. I had a man that did that. Like, I own this restaurant, and you can come and I'll give you a discount. Nigga, I'm sucking your dick. I'm not getting no discount. Well, I'm eating food. You know what I said? Before you free. And my friends. I don't get it. Me and my friends. I don't get it. Because you own a restaurant? That's supposed to be like, I'm supposed to, I cook. He's important. He's important. Right. You don't know how important his restaurant is. So he give you a probably a Harold's chicken. He on a Harold's. Right. I'm not going to Doc's and be like, well, I'm making my own. Don't tax my wings and don't put no lemon salt, no lemon pepper on. But I have two doctors. Exactly. I don't have. But that's true. But I have dated. But I went to Atlanta one time, and I went a few times, and I kid you not, I was probably there for like 5 days. I went on dates every day I was there. When I'm talking about dates, I'm talking about dates. I mean, like, I might drive to the city because I was staying in Marietta, so I would drive to the city. When I got there, I'm well taken care of.
well taken care of. And I'm like, when you come to Chicago? Because I don't get this. You don't go, I would think you would just go on dates every day and this and you're just so beautiful and this. And I'm like, no. We might hang out. We might go like, hang out. You know, right? What's hanging out? No, you mean you don't go to dinner and go to events and
you be good, but I'm about to ask you to come over to your house.
Right.
Watch your DVD.
Right.
I remember a story she told me. She went out, and I think she was in Atlanta. She said, well, we went out, and I met this guy, and we started a conversation, and we were in this long line, and he was like, well, you ain't got to wait in this long line. We're going to go to another party. Let me go get my car. And she said the guy, a car turns the corner.
And I'm like, where you at? He's like, I'm looking at you in the street.
And it's this big, blinged out, rims, ridiculous car. And he treated her and her friend. They went to 6 or 7 clubs. It was $20 to get in. He paid their way. They had bottle service that whole time. He just met her on the street.
And didn't want anything. In the night.
And that's
for breakfast. You want to go to breakfast? You go to breakfast?
A boss.
Yeah.
That's the boss. That's the difference between a boss and an IBM.
We don't have
A boss got his stuff together. He don't need nobody to talk about how important he is, because he just be doing it like that. He don't need your approval. He don't need your opinion. That's what he do. That's how he get down on a regular day.
Right.
And nobody has to throw a parade or a fanfare about it, because that's just
But that's not here. They're not here.
Giving notice. We're moving.
Bye.
I'm moving.
Right.
All right. I knew that the conversation on Chicago men would be a great one. You know, I've had my own experiences with Chicago men, and I've lived a bunch of places as well, from Atlanta, New York, California, and now I'm here. And you know, I got a good Chicago man. Y'all know I got a good Chicago man. But Chicago man. Now, see, in my opinion, Chicago men have game. Now, I guess it depends on what kind of game you run across. But I have ran across some Chicago. I have ran across them IBMs. They're important. They're so important. But there's this phrase. It's called having a false sense of grandeur. Look that one up.